Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Charlotte, North Carolina, here for the Sportsman Truck Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway here. Once again, for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series, their preseason uh, race here at Charlotte, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we get into everything, before we start the race. Obviously, maybe a little bit of confusion if you are just here as a concurrent viewer, but once again, welcome here to the Sportsman Truck Series here at Charlotte, North Carolina. My name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here for the Crown Jewel Sportsman Truck Series. Currently, we've got about 11 people in the sim and about 7 minutes left in practice. And as we talk about it and as we get ready to go here, so what I'm referring to is obviously we did have the Sportsman Truck Series that we broadcasted just last Sunday, but obviously Crown Jewel going through a big rephase and a big change, trying to rebuild and get everything back going. So actually, they decided to kind of restart the season and officially start the Sportsman Truck Series. Obviously, you see now we are in the 2008 Silverados versus the current Craftsman Truck Series with the Chevy, the Ford, and the Toyotas. Now we are in just the legacy trucks and stuff like that. So they're wanting to restart the season and kind of have a fresh wipe. Obviously, the past Sportsman Legacy Truck Series, brought to you by PH Designs, was kind of a filler season until they could figure out what they wanted to do. So now they're going to kind of have a fresh wipe. They're having a preseason race to have everybody kind of come out, get a feel for these new, older style trucks that do race a lot differently than the current gen trucks that you see out on the racetrack in real life and stuff. So, we are obviously covering this preseason race here at Charlotte. And not only that, the older version of Charlotte, obviously you see these iconic yellow walls that you saw back when it was called Lowe's Motor Speedway and all that. And we're coming back here. Obviously, it fits pretty well, right? We're back here with a legacy car, with a legacy track. I just think it kind of fits really well together. Obviously, with iRacing going through and giving us all these brand new graphics updates with a lot of these tracks, with the upcoming, a console game coming out, is allowed, us to come back and take a look at some of these older tracks that still look very good compared to how old they are. But obviously, right now we'll be covering this preseason race, and we'll be covering their season, their race one at Daytona, which is it's going to be a really good race there. Obviously, Daytona is kind of the most iconic way to start off a season anywhere you go, in my opinion. But we were looking at Garth Griswold right there, currently P6 in practice. Ryan Taft having a little bit of a issue with that truck. We'll go on board with this Budweiser machine. Lee Hamby right now currently P2 in practice. Right now his fastest lap is a 30.575. Only a hundredth off of the fastest, which is actually the boss man of Corey Mott, 30.565. We're really excited to see what this series comes to be. Obviously, there's not a lot of series that come in and run this car anymore, and it's kind of disappointing to see that, a lot of leagues kind of put this car to the side because this truck, so fun to drive, so much fun. Really, it's a lot different compared to a lot of other stuff. You take like a Bob Baker and his Prince machine. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's really unique compared to a lot of the other cars you see. Even Bob's even shown a little bit. It's so on edge everywhere you go in this thing. You saw even on the straights, it kind of wants to float around and weave around because it's just so up on the track and so up in the air. There's not a lot of downforce on these things. It's just about how much you can push the truck to get the pace out of it. But also talking about that, you have to think about when you push the truck this hard, the tire wear, if you really do push this truck a lot, harder than it needs to be driven, the tire wear will start to come, and you will start to see that for some of these drivers. You're gonna see some guys maybe try to go in there and drive it in and try to be aggressive. You see Bob trying to practice getting into the pits. Oh, a little bit too aggressive. He's gonna loop that thing around. We'll see if we can try to find someone else. Joe Gibbons out on track, the number 8 machine. But the more these drivers push, the tire wear will start to come. Obviously, it's a free truck, so everybody has the opportunity to go and run this thing and test it out for themselves. But, I've driven it for a little bit. I wouldn't say it's obviously not my most driven car on the sim, but it is definitely, it drives a lot more different than a lot of other things on the sim, so. Take a look at your fastest practice right now. Currently, Corey Mott, this number 99 X-Side, Jeff Burton inspired machine, P1. We looked at Lee Hamby a while ago in that Budweiser machine, P2. Jay Salmon, and number 67, that bright green machine, says P3. Joseph Stafford just coming out in that plain chrome machine. Really unique looking truck right there. He sits P4. Ryan Taft in that number 6 machine rounds out your top 5. Hayden Higginbottom. He's currently a P6 driver. Now going to the line. Let's go on board with this number 88. Oh, and as we say that, he's gonna pull that thing down off to the side. See if we can get on board with someone else. Joseph Stafford having an issue. Nathan Jump. He can wheel a car around here. Go on board with this 15 Menards machine. He's gonna take you around the track. He's gonna show you how unpredictable these trucks can be. As you see, the 8 upset in front of him. Looks like maybe Nathan was doing maybe a mock quali run. Let that 8 get in the way. Joe Gibbons had a mistake. See Joe Gibbons flipping that thing around on the apron. We were gonna have one of your drivers kind of show you around the track, but nobody wanted to cooperate. Everybody trying to do one lap and then go down pit road. But 33 seconds left in practice. And Higginbottom jumps up to your fastest in practice. So now 299 machines going to be your first and second. Obviously, it says Higginbottom in the sim is the 88. And Corey is the 99. But 2 X-Side machines going to lead your practice. Really cool to see that. With that all said and done, we'll get ready to start your qualifying and get ready for qualifying. Obviously, I feel like track position is going to be really huge here with how you're going to see when we start the race how hard these things are going to drive on cold tires. And, just by themselves, you saw people spinning out. Yeah, let's have to race side by side, maybe even going 3-4 wide going into turn 1 and 2 on these first couple laps, trying to make up some spots. Currently 13 drivers in the sim. Maybe we can get some more as qualifying starts. But we'll try to find someone to grab. Like Joseph Stafford out on track. As these drivers get 2 laps to set a good time. Coming to the line will go on board with this 57. He's going to run the bottom on this first lap. And then the line for this first lap, Joseph Stafford, 31.19. Really good enough for P2. Corey Mott, currently your pole sitter, 30.56. See if Joseph can improve on this lap at all. Coming to the line. 30.54. Good enough for P2. Not going to knock off Corey Mott, though. We got Jim Mott out on track. Jim, one of the some of the founding members in this league. Jim coming out. This is his second lap as well, so let's see if Jim can improve on that 31.7, which is the first lap he put down. Coming to the line, Jim Mott, 31.1. Good enough for P10 right now. And Higginbottom, your fastest on practice. Now on the 88 Gatorade machine. This is his first lap out. See what this number 88 can do. Hayden has it raining in the VRS Truck Series or the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series full time, but when he does, he's always out here being competitive, having really good runs. So we'll see what this first lap's going to come out to. 30.69. Good enough for P8. The second lap, I love these trucks because you can get them. It does take both laps to get it, a good lap here. Because you do, if you can't hold on to it, you go full out, and it takes 2 laps to really get these things wound up. The second lap should be quicker. Coming to the line, 30.5, 32. Good enough for P3. Hey, Salmon. Looks like he's going to be a pole sitter for tonight's race. 30.539. We'll show you guys timing and scoring right there. You see that number 67 out in front, and everybody has set a lap. So 13 trucks did set down a lap. Looks like no one else has joined the session, so it looks like we will have 13 trucks for tonight's race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You want to call it Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, this isn't the new refresh version that you see a lot of other leagues would run. Obviously, we're running the Legacy truck. We're going to run this Legacy track as well. So I think it's really cool what they're doing. And just like that, we're going to get ready to start tonight's race.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Charlotte. 150 laps here tonight. No stages in these leagues, in these legacy leagues. So straight up 150 laps. You should have 5 extra sets of tires. So I gave the Truck Series normal of 4 extra plus an extra set since we're running a little bit longer of a race and it's a little bit of a testing race. We'll fine tune that number if need be because back in these days they didn't actually have tire limits. But that's something to keep the competitiveness up. As for the new rule book, for those of you that didn't know, now during races we're going to keep chatter in the race to a minimum. Try and keep it race pertinent information only. So calling out wrecks or like hey, I'm going to pass you around the top side if you're lapping a lap car or whatever. And we're going to refrain from yelling at people. There's a strict policy with yelling at people mid-race now. I would highly recommend you don't do it if you haven't read the rulebook, and then review the rulebook after the fact. Don't find yourself in a situation where you're already getting hit with penalties because you're going to start yelling at people during the races. But we're not doing that anymore. It's a big stark contrast from last season to this season. We're going to keep things nice and calm this time around. Yeah. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. Restarts in this configuration are lapped cars on the inside, lead lap cars on the outside. Just follow whatever your black box says. If you leave the pits late in your lap car, it's going to make you go to the end of the right-hand line, so don't just take off and go to the inside line. Make sure you actually follow what your black box is doing. The only thing we're clearing black flags for is wrecking through the pits, so don't try and game the system and expect black flag clears. It's not happening. Yeah, other than that, good luck, have fun. This is a really fun track, so enjoy, and have a good night.
Here from the boss man himself. Drivers meeting complete here at Charlotte, and that just means it's time for us to start our starting lineup, presented by High Velocity TV. So right there, Jay Salmon going to be your pole sitter with Corey Mott going to be on that row 1. Row 2, Hayden Higginbottom with Lee Hamby in that 914 machine. Row 3 is going to be Joseph Stafford in the 57 with Nathan Jump going to round out that row. P7 is going to be Ryan Taft with Garth Griswold going to round out that row 4. And rounding out the top 10, Ted Lidsby and Jonathan Ledger in the number 98. Bob Baker is going to start that row 6, and beside him in that number 8 machine is going to be Joe Gibbons. And finishing off your field is Jim Mott in that number 1 machine for tonight's race. 150 laps here at Charlotte, so we only have, as we just mentioned, 13 competitors. Well, I can really see this thing going clean and green for a big portion of this race. Hopefully we can see that. Looking at your race weather for tonight's race, 73 degrees. 5 mile an hour out of the western part of the forecast with a little bit of an overcast, so still a great night of racing. I'm really excited to see what these drivers can do. See the pace car take that hard left turn. 67.99 going to lead us to green. Going into restart zone, we're going to hand this race over to Barney, and we're green at Charlotte. Going to complete lap 1. Jay Salmon, my apologies, going to lead that first lap. Joseph Stafford still right behind, close, trying to catch up to them, and you're already starting to see everybody start to get single file. These trucks are not the easiest to wheel around this track. You're going to start to see some guys start to make sure that they're trying to save their stuff, save their equipment, right? Like I said, we only have 13 drivers that are racing tonight. It's going to be about who can save their tires, who can save their equipment, who can be up there when it counts. Already seen everybody try to get down to the bottom line, trying to wrap that white line. There is a little bit of grip down there. If you get down there, use that paint, is what they call it. You can get a little bit of a momentum down there. So you're starting to see everybody try to get down there, trying to get to the bottom and wrap it as best as they can. But you see that 67, for instance, to not get down there, to get on that white line, super hard to get that car settled down there without, using up tires. You Stafford right there, but you also see a battle for the P3. You see the 15 of Nathan Jump already at the back end of that 99 machine of Corey Mott. Nathan Jump, your last week's winner. A photo finish at Chicagoland. At Auto Club, my apologies. I'm start to see Nathan. He's going to be the first one to jump up on the top. Going to try to use the momentum off that top. to get side by side with this 99, as he does get side by side. Be a little bit boxed in with this 57, who's starting to back up to these two. Nathan's not afraid to go up there and use the top right now. He said, I'm okay if I use up my stuff just a little bit. I want the track position. I want it now. Ooh, almost some contact. Now, if I'm Corey, I'm saying right now, just let that 15 go. You know, if you can save tires on the bottom, let him take it. They'll get him back later. Did you see the 15 clear that number 99? See that 15 get right back down there to the bottom where everybody really wants to go. That preferred lane. This 15 already up 3 spots. As well as Joseph Stafford up 3 positions, up in that P2 position. He's already trying to run down the race leader, Salmon, with the tailgate full of this 57 machine. 57's gonna look bottom going into 3. And they usually get around the 67. I think the 67 just let him go. Once again, not really the time to race yet. Obviously, you want to keep the track position, but I think not using up. I think saving your tires is probably the best thing. A little of a battle behind here. 98 and the 914 going at it. It's for the 5th place spot. Jonathan Ledger trying to make a move. Ledger kind of running this kind of arc line, if you want to call it. And Ledger up 4 spots right now. Tied with you biggest movers of the race. Is he's tied actually with you first 2. 1 and 2 also up 4 spots. So your first and second place driver up 4 spots, as well as Jonathan Ledger in the 6th place. Him in that Dodge Mopar machine. Side by side up in front here for this 4th place battle. Corey Maya gets passed by the 914. Amby starting to make some moves. Try to get up towards the front. Oh, you see the 67 getting to the wall there a little bit. That's what I was talking about in the pre-race. Even on the straights, these cars are kind of, I would say, they're not in the track, I guess is the best way to say. And, you know, they kind of do sway from back and forth, side to side if you're not careful. If you just kind of lose focus for a little bit, you can start to see the truck start to, you know, go out from underneath you. But they see the 67 start to lose contact with the front 2. This jumping Stafford starting to get away from the rest of the field. Starting to run down your race leader though, and in a hurry. Jump. Being aggressive. Gonna look on the inside. Moved in the inside. Stafford not gonna let him go that easy. See the 57 drive it in. Really deep into the corner. He's actually gonna clear the 15 once again. If I'm the 15, I don't mind sitting behind you. You got to be patient if you want to make this move. The 57 just showed right there. He does not want to give up the lead. So now if you're the 15, you have to now be patient. You cannot use your stuff up to try to get around him. Set him up, you know. Maybe force this 57 to use his tires up to try to stay in front of you, right? You're going to see this 57 start to mirror You know, aero block and mirror drive and stuff like that. See the 15 now looking at the bottom once again. Side by side going into 2. Coming out of 2 side by side once again. And dead even going into 3 and 4. Going into 3 and 4. To the bottom with a little bit of an advantage on entry, but the top will always have the advantage on exit if you do it right. But that lap still to the 57. As long as his 15 isn't using his tires up doing this, I don't mind what he's doing. Forcing that 57 to the top, making him use his stuff up a little bit more on the top. Obviously, that top is just a little bit longer around the track than it is on the bottom that 15 was doing. It looks like the 15 not really trying to push the issue that hard. Maybe just when he gets a run, he's going to take it. But once again, Joseph Stafford clears to continue to lead this race. But with them battling, that's allowed the 67, Jay Salmon. Slowly trying to get back into the picture and maybe trying to get back into the race for this lead. Saw the 15 get super sideways trying to make a move there. That just shows how on edge these trucks are. You can't really make a lot of sudden movements with the wheel to try to do stuff. He's going to try to squeeze up the 57. He's going to clear for the race lead. New race leader in that 15 is, oh, Stafford super sideways trying to get back underneath the 15. 15 once again, kind of chops the nose of the 57, putting the 57 in an awkward place. Now here comes the 67, trying to pick a leak, trying to take a peek for this P2 position. Drives it really deep into the corner to clear the 57, going into 1 and 2, give him the position now. And now here comes that number 914 of Hamby into the conversation now. He's seen these guys battle it out. It's allowed him to start to creep into the picture. Now a top 4 breakaway for this lead. Now Hamby looking underneath Stafford. And 1-4 clears Stafford for that P3 position. And if I'm the 57, I'm not really gonna panic right now. You see him now look underneath this Budweiser machine. But I'm not gonna panic right now if I'm this 57. Obviously you were leading this race, but I don't know, maybe used up your stuff a little bit. But right now, I mean, we still have, you know, lots and lots of laps to go. No stages, no nothing, right? If I'm Joseph, we know he's good. We know he's fast. He's won several times here in the VRS Truck Series, and even here in the Crown Jewel community. We know he's got good pace. If I'm him, I'm not gonna worry that you just lost 3 spots or whatever. That you're sitting back in MP4, right? You're still in P4. You can see the leaders. You can still see them in the grasp. You go into this nose cam. The leaders are right there, battling for the lead right now. You see the 67 going to look underneath the 15, but this 57 is right there and still close enough to take advantage if there is a mistake from the leaders or something, right? If I'm him, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to save my stuff and make sure that I got stuff, for this long run. Obviously, 25 laps into this run almost, where you're going to start to see tire wear start to really show, and who saved their stuff and who didn't. Back to this race for the P2 spot. Now the 67 tried to make a move underneath the 15. lost some momentum, and now Lee is gonna try to maybe take a look at the 67 for this P2 spot. Now look at Corey Mott back here, gonna try to take a look under this 57. Corey Mott, I feel like one of his stronger suits is his long run pace. I feel like he's one of the more disciplined drivers who, even though he might not be quick on the short run and take off speed and stuff like that, he's always got one of those trucks that are set up for the long run, who's really disciplined with his tires and will slowly drive up through the field. I've seen it firsthand when I used to race here in the Crown Jewel races. When, you know, I had to battle him for a podium spot at Dover back in 2023 to get myself into the Truck Series and into the Cup Series. And, you know, I used myself up trying to get up to the race lead, used myself up, and we had a really good battle. He got around me for the P3 spot. So Corey's always been one of those guys who is going to save his equipment. He's going to methodically work his way up to the field. Now Corey really being disciplined, really being patient with this 57. I think he might have a little bit more pace, or at least looks like he's trying to have a little bit more pace in this 57, but really hasn't been given a good opportunity to get around him. You see Corey just kind of being okay, sitting back here and riding it out for a little bit. Now I see the 57 give him the bottom. Side by side out of 2. Can Corey make this pass into 3 and 4? His 57 still hanging tough on the outside. Now if I'm the 99 or the 57, you've got 28 laps on these tires. We haven't seen a caution yet. Either you gotta let one of you two go. You're racing side by side. You're just gonna continue to hemorrhage, you know, speed away and hemorrhage time away from these leaders. You start to see them now that they're side by side start to lose these top 3. I mean, look at this Budweiser machine right in front of them. I think he's got a little bit more pace than Salmon does, but is content kind of riding back there until he sees fit. Go make a move. Them racing side by side here for the 4th place position. They're just slowing them both down because it looks like, you know, Corey might be a little bit better on entry, but the top has a little bit better of an exit. And it just kind of stalls them both out on the straightaway. I think the 57 will clear. Get back out at this P4 spot. And I have to think, you know, what did that do to the tires, right? Racing side by side for what? 2, 3, 4 laps. Did that really hurt the tires for these two drivers? Is that going to allow someone like Garth Griswold back here in this 3 machine? The 57 in the wall. That'll give Corey another opportunity. But this is giving opportunity for someone like Garth in that 3 right behind him. You see them kind of in the back shot, on the background of this battle, to come in and start to slowly run these guys down as they run side by side. Corey not really willing to, you know, drive this car in deep and try to pass him. He will complete the pass, but not really driving it in to, you know, make something work, because now here comes the 57 to the inside of the 99. That Corey with the top will clear and potentially start to pull away from this 57. I'm not sure if the 57 is saving, or maybe, you know, he just kind of used up his stuff versus Corey, who's starting to kind of put the pressure on and try to start to run these leaders down. But you see right there, top 3 breakaway in the 4 shot, little 2-car tandem, and the 3-car. Garth Griswold's starting to run these guys down in front of him. Garth was right on the dot almost, a 10th quicker than that 57 at Stafford. Look at Garth trying to start to slowly make up some time to at least the 5th and 4th place. You got to find a little bit more pace to start to actually run down your top 3, but the Garth, once again, the 57 on the wall. I've been watching Garth, and he's someone has a little bit more of a unique line. He isn't really running up top and ripping the wall, but he's not all the way down on the bottom, trying to get down there in the paint. He's gonna do it now, but whether it's on purpose or not, I've noticed that Garth has been kind of running in the middle, and that's not a bad thing, right? You can really find some speed down there in the middle, like right here. He's about laying off the bottom, and he's starting to run down this 57 machine. You know, he's running down someone who has won in this series before. We do have a battle, I think, for potentially this P2 spot. Really for the lead. Still a 3-car breakaway, and they're still all over each other here for this race lead. 67 trying to make a peak. I wonder if those guys saw what happened between the 99 and the 57 earlier. They saw, you know, if you go side by side, you're going to burn your stuff up. You're going to really impair yourself. Because I think the 67 does have a little bit more pace, but you don't see him trying to pull out a line to, you know, make this a battle. You see him kind of content running behind this 15 machine. And you see the same thing with that Budweiser machine, that 914 machine behind. I think both these guys have just a little bit more pace than Nathan right now, but aren't really trying to put up a big fight to get back up to them. Now you're going to start to see the 67 look on the bottom, going into 3. Try to see what he can do. Wow, you see that Budweiser machine getting in the wall there. It's really hard to kind of run the wall there, especially in 3 and 4. Just because of how the walls work here at Charlotte. It's not like a generic corner where it's kind of flat out, but where it's curved. Oh, you see the 15 in the wall. Here in 3 and 4, we'll see it there. Yeah, he's gonna run the wall again. I'm gonna try to, but you see this wall out here will jet back in, and it will catch a lot of guys off guard. But holy crap, a 3-wide battle for the lead here. Now a battle for P2. You start to see this 15 after he lost the lead start to fall back just a little bit. And you see this Budweiser machine use the top, use the momentum to get around the 15. That's going to put him up into the second position. And Jay starting to slowly already pull away from that 15 machine. Does this Budweiser machine have anything for Jay right now? See some smoke. Is Jim Mott down pit road? Jim Mott with a black flag as well. I don't really see any damage to this machine. Maybe just coming down and getting some fresh tires. Maybe didn't like the way that thing drove, but does have a black flag. I think maybe he had maybe sped in the pits or something. But I do see a black flag for this one machine, which is not what you want to see for Jim. You know, one of the, you know, I would say kind of some of the founding fathers of this Crown Jewel community and the Crown Jewel leagues and everything else. Unfortunate to see Jim with a mistake like that. Right now, your best battle still up here inside the top 3. Nathan hasn't really fallen off as much as I thought he would. Still keeping touch with these front 2. But the front 2 gonna start the battle here anytime now. Jay has started to go up here and run this top lane a little bit more. That's allowed Lee to get side by side now for this race lead. give that lap to Lee, and I think that's going to be his first lap led right there in that Budweiser machine. So good for him to get up there and start to lead some laps. And now you're going to start to see once again this long run speed start to come into play. Ooh, you see a little mistake out of 2.7. You see that truck wiggle going into 3. And it seems now that, you see this in real life as well, but you're starting to see some of these guys start to slowly shade up and move their way up the track. You start to see they're not really getting down there and trying to paint the line as much as you've seen before. As I say that they do it in the 1 and 2, but you saw like that last lap, the leader tried to go up there and try to run a little bit higher. Did you see them do it right there? Once again, we thought he might have been gone, but here comes Nathan Jump to make a battle for this P2 position. And look at this. Once again, this top 3 just not being able to get away from each other. Almost like they got magnets on the back end of their cars to keep each other together. But now Nathan looking underneath the 67. 67 in the wall. Gonna allow Nathan to clear. And it's fun to see, these top 3 kind of show what they have, right? You've seen the 15 now have the lead for a little bit. You saw the 67 have the lead for a little bit. Now the 914 has the lead now, but 15 starting to run down, and once again the race leader again. And it seems like it's almost like a cat and mouse game, right? It seems like after these drivers lose the lead, they'll kind of sit back, maybe lose 1 or 2 spots, sit back, try to save their stuff a little bit, and they'll then try to drive back up and retake the lead. That's what's happening now, it looks like. About a 15 get around the 67 and try to make a charge for the race lead, but once again hasn't been able to get back up here to the the tailgate of that Budweiser machine. He's starting to actually put a little bit of a gap with the drivers here. Some lap traffic coming up. That's the 8 of Gibbons. Did you see the leader down Perez? Oh, the leader! Wow! Huge slide. It's going to be a big advantage for the 67, who had a way better pit stop. Way better getting into the pits. I'll pull this up. We'll go back and look at right now, your race leader in that 15 machine. Like the 15 might be coming down pit road. No. Thought I heard a call out. That all said and done, Corey Mott has actually put a little bit of a chunk into this gap. Did you see Corey coming down pit road? I think the 15 will follow. That'll hand the lead over to Higginbottom on this 88 machine. Higginbottom leading his first laps. Now I'm going to go back and look at Nathan Jump, because this will be kind of the battle for the race lead here. See him for fresh tires. You see him coming out of pit road now. And you'll go back and look at Salmon. He's coming at the start finish line now. Nathan Jump out of turn 2. Maybe a mistake out of the 67, but look at this. Ampy, no mistake. And he's going to jump in front of this 15. Higginbottom down pit road. Yeah, Salmon must have had a mistake or something down pit road. I mean, he's down at 12th. Had a 54-second pit stop, which makes me think he might have sped coming down pit road. Because I didn't see any damage on that 67. I didn't catch if he had a black flag, but that's the, I mean, if it's a 54-second stop, that's usually a pit, like a 14-second stop plus the 40-second hold. So that kind of adds up pretty well. I thought Lee Hampy would have the jump because he short pitted, but you already see the 15 get around that Budweiser machine pretty quickly. But we saw this before, that Budweiser machine wasn't too keen on pushing his stuff early in the run and kind of ran down the race leaders as they ran, you know, as we got some laps on the tires. Looking back, maybe Higginbottom had an issue. We'll see if we can back and look at these session events. Goes down pit road here. Oh man, I think that's what might have cost him right there, is that he just was really hyper sensitive of getting in pit road. I mean, he took all of 3 and 4 on the apron. I think that cost him a lot of time. I was about to say, I mean, he took the race lead and wasn't that far behind, but that will definitely hemorrhage a lot of time if you're going to be that passive going down pit road. Right now, though, only one driver who has it pitted, and it is your race leader right now, Ted Linsby. Your race leader in this number 44 machine, but 55 laps on those tires. He's going to have to come down sooner or later. I'm surprised he hasn't come down now. I'm not sure what fuel looks like for these trucks. Did not get a chance to talk to any drivers about fuel strategy or how many laps you can go. But I can't imagine you can go more than 60 laps on a tank of fuel, so it's going to be a matter of, 5 or, at most of 5 laps, I'm going to presume, that he can go. And right now, I mean, didn't really look like he had a lot of pace in that truck, and I mean, he's about to get passed for the lead, and he hasn't even come down pit road yet. So when he decides to come down pit road, he will definitely go at least a lap down to the provisional leaders, who you already see in the background, that 15 in that Budweiser machine, starting to reel him in quick. Joseph Stafford, good recovery for him. He's right there in striking distance again, but there goes Nathan Jump around the 44 to retake the race lead officially. Lee Hamby gonna get around him as well. Joseph Stafford gonna try to make a move on the bottom. He's gonna easily get around the 44 as well. So the 44 falls out of the top 3. It should be coming down pit road any time now. But I guess you had to try something. I was hoping, I'm assuming that 44 was hoping for a caution or something, right? To give him something. But fortunately not gonna work out for him. And I wasn't expecting a caution to come out with only 13 trucks. I don't really expect, more than maybe 1 or 2 cautions. But battle for the lead right here. Lee Hampy underneath the 15 and Nathan Jump trying to take this lead away. Got the lap car, Jim Mott. That's going to be in the way of someone right here. Maybe Hampy going to use this as a pick. As he kind of does, but here comes the 15 with the crossover in the grass. Not going to be able to get back to the quarter of that 914. And Hampy Gonna retake your race lead. Oh, you see Jim Mott in the wall back there. Jim obviously not having the race he probably wants to have, but glad to still see him on the track trying to give it a crack. Jim currently 2 laps down. The third car that is laps down right now, Jay Salmon. First car lap down. Obviously, we documented that penalty he had going down pit road. Sitting currently 1 lap down. Ryan Taft, second car, 1 lap down. In 12th, and obviously we just documented Jim Mott. Nathan Jump, after losing the lead, starting to lose some time to your race leader. Joseph Stafford starting to put some pressure on this number 15 machine. I have to think that Stafford maybe would have learned a little bit of, some mistakes that he might have made in that first run. Stafford out here, currently 3rd, has led some laps. Hasn't been outside the top 10. Right now, a really good race for this 57 machine. Now your race leader has started to actually pull away here. We haven't seen this happen yet this race, but Lee Hampy now with almost a 2-second lead over Nathan Jump. Nathan Jump obviously with the tailgate full of the 57 of Joseph Stafford. I'm interested, right? Is Lee, trying to get out there and get away, and you'll start to see the tires show later in the run, or does he just have flat out more pace than these other two do? Is the 15 trying to save, and then he's gonna maybe try to make a run at the race leader? Maybe we saw, they last pitted, 18 laps ago, 16 laps ago. So really, right there on the lap 50 mark, right? Maybe is the 15 trying to save his tires, and then maybe around lap 80, he's gonna start to maybe try to be a little bit more aggressive, try to drive back up to the leader, right? And they went 50 laps on that first stint. It looks like a lot of guys that are going to split this race into 3 parts, so a 2-stopper for a lot of these drivers. You saw Joseph Stafford get around to 15, going to claim that P2 position. Now can he start to run down your race leader a little bit? Last lap for your race leader, 32.26 versus Joseph Stafford's 31.9. So almost 3/10 quicker than your race leader. That last lap, 32 flat to a 31.8. Ethan Jump with a 32.1. I know that Nathan's got pace, so I have to think that he'd be saving his stuff. I don't see any damage on that machine. I think he really is just trying to manage his stuff right now. You see Corey Mott actually start to move his way up into the picture. Corey, one of the fastest cars on track right now as well. Corey just ran a 31.7 versus Nathan's 32.2. That's almost half a second quicker than this 15 machine. I mean, we start to see some transition here. Remember, we started in the evening. Start to see the track get a little bit darker. You see the lights start to come up on the track. I mean, we're starting to transition to where it is nighttime. The track temp is going to start to change. The track is going to start to change really overall. Going to start to get a little bit more grip. You're going to see that top be a little bit more of a line you can run without having to use up the stuff, right? Get a 99, easily get around the 15 machine. He's going to move his way up into the P3 spot. First time Corey's been in the podium position. Joseph Stafford just slowly chipping in this lead. It was about a 10th faster that lap, a 31.9 to a 31.8. Oh, we have time. Let's go ahead and go through your field. We'll start with the race leader here, Lee Hamby. Leading your race right now. Got about a 2-second gap on your P2 driver of Joseph Stafford. He's been up here towards the front all race, but you know, Joseph a little bit quicker right now than your race leader. Just needs a little bit of time to reel him back in. Corey Mott. Right now, high second, low is 7th. We just saw him getting on this 15. Right now, not running the lap times we thought he would, but right now, sitting in that P3 spot, just trying to hold on. Noah Jump says in the 904, but you see that 15 number on the side. We're just going to call him the 15. Saw him lead some laps. So right now, sitting back here in P4, up 2 spots from where he started. Garth Griswold up 3 spots, sitting here, rounding out your top 5. Good run for Garth. Ted, you know, remember we saw him lead some laps. He's up here in the P6 position. Has by far the freshest tires. But good for Ted. Joe Gibbons making up some spots. Remember, he was in contention to going a lap down there. Went back there, got some tires, unlapped himself. Jonathan Ledger back here in P8, up 2 spots. And Hayden Higginbottom. These are some of the guys who have had mistakes down pit road or just couldn't capitalize on these green flag pit stops. Hayden down 6 spots from where he started back here in 9th place. Bob Baker up a spot, rounding out your top 10. Jay Salmon, we saw him with that mistake in pit road. And now, second car lap down. Ryan Taft, the last car, 1 lap down in that 6th machine. And Jim Mott, right now 2 laps down, back there in that 13th spot. Head down pit road once again. I think he's going to take some tires. Not sure how this strategy is going to work out here. I mean, I said he had 41 laps on that stint, which is surprising because we saw him, he stayed out late. So I'm a little confused. Maybe his timing and scoring is not right on my end, but he had by far the longest stint out of the people here. Like right now, your race leader, Lee Hamby, 30 lap stint. Joseph Stafford, along with Corey Mott, 28. Along with Nathan Jump and Garth Griswold with 28 laps. Back to Joe Gibbons with 32. Jonathan Ledger with 31. So, interesting. But Joseph Stafford is slowly starting to chip in this lead. Remember, Lee Hamby almost had a 3-second lead now. Joseph has chipped it all the way back down to a little under a second and a half. Enough that you can see that Budweiser machine out in front. I mean, you can see the leader right there. With about 20 laps until, you know, the pit cycle should start. He's got plenty of time to go run him down. Some lap traffic. Then Mott right in front of that 57. Tell your race leader to get around him. Now your race leader starting to have to negotiate some lap traffic. Obviously, we just documented him getting around the one of Jim Mott and that Maxwell House machine. But you see some lap traffic up ahead. That's the 88, the 98. Higginbottom and Ledger trying to stay on the lead lap. Ada Gibbons also right there trying to stay on the lead lap. And just over halfway done with this race. I mean, we're over halfway done. We haven't seen a caution yet. I'm gonna assume that we're not gonna get when you see actually Jim Mott get around your race leader again. Jim Mott's starting to put the burners on, saying, "Shoot, I can't afford to go, you know, 3 laps down. I got to get going." You see him easily get around that one machine. And I'm starting to see maybe this 914's handling start to go away. Wow, he tank slaps the wall. You're starting to see this dirty air starting to affect this truck a lot. And it looks like the handling for a lot of these trucks have started to go away. See the 57. Even with that, lost time. Remember, we talked about it was about a second and a half. Now it's down to 2 seconds, so... We thought the 57 was doing something. Trying to get back up there, but it's starting to lose time now. Over 2 seconds, he has the leader. Corey Mott up to the P3 spot. Nathan Jump. His truck has just started to fall away as well. So Garth Griswold actually get around him. And has left him in the dust. You know, Nathan Jump went from battling for the lead, now 10 seconds behind the pack. I don't see any damage on this machine. That's just a side effect. You know, we talked about the day to night transition. If you do not keep up with the track, and you don't adjust your driving style accordingly, this is what happens, right? You might have the fastest truck when it's hot outside and it's hot and slick. But if you don't have the car to go out there and race when the track changes, obviously they knew it was going to be a nighttime race. It doesn't matter. And Joseph's truck has started to fall off as well a lot. Corey Mott and Garth Griswold currently the fastest cars on the track. Now Corey ran about a 10th quicker than your race leader that lap. But with 15 until the stage window, wow, Joseph really stepping that machine out on the straights. The handling had just gone away for that 57. Does Corey have enough time? I mean, he's only about 3.5 seconds behind your race leader. The issue is he's only running, you know, maybe half a tenth, maybe a 10th quicker lap. That's not going to be enough to get him up there. Maybe if he was 3/10 behind or something. Maybe if he was half a second, maybe a second behind. Maybe you could see him start to reel him in a little bit. But he is 3.5 seconds behind, right? And now he's got this, you know, this lap traffic plus a slower car he's going to have to get around. And Stafford. It's going to be tough for this 99 too. continue to drive his way through here and catch the leader with after 11 all over the place. Making it a 99 kind of run on the bottom and enter on the bottom, which makes him have to lift out a little bit more. Get around him, but you see him do now to get around that pins wheel machine. Now going to try to make some noise and try to get around this 57. Now, something that was interesting to me, I don't know, maybe it was just that lap, but you actually heard Corey lifting the tri-oval. Like, maybe, like, the car is starting to get upset with just kind of just the way you have to arc the corner for the tri-oval to make it work. I'm wondering if that's something that everybody's having to do. Like, Corey might have to negotiate stuff, it just not allowed him to reel in your race leader in Lee Hamby. Continuing to stretch this gap out now. Over 3 seconds to that P2 driver of Joseph Stafford. Jonathan Ledger trying to get ran down by Joe Gibbons. This will be a battle for the lucky dog if the caution would come out. Ledger kind of blinking in and out there. And we know Ledger's not going to just pull over and let him go. I mean, this is for the lucky dog. This is, if we get a caution, this could say this saves someone's race here. Give him a little pedal it around. Get around that 98. Jonathan Ledger gonna be under fire from the 11. Bob Baker now, and he's gonna get around. Bob Baker's gonna take a look at Joe Gibbons here in a second as well. Bob with just a couple lap fresher tires. Whoa! You see him squirrely down the straight. You see the 8 in the wall. That's going to let Bob get around. Now he's going to beat your free pass driver. What a move to get him into a position. See Garth Griswold back here on the lead lap. Now he's going to have to try to negotiate through some of this, through these lap cars. Oh, Bob into the wall hard. Oh, Bob! Gonna get hooked by the 3. And that's gonna be a caution. Caution will wave. On lap 95. And we're a couple laps away from green flag pit stops. And we saw Bob having issues with this machine on, especially on the straights. Watch out, it's the lead lap cars trying to get around Bob right there. We'll take a look and see what happened to this 11 machine. You saw Bob, he just came up here and kind of tank slapped the wall. I think he just tried to yank it off, and you can't really yank these trucks around because of how floaty these things are. And you see them just weaving back and forth, back and forth. And here comes the 3 in the frame there. That 11 is just so much slower, and he's not really holding a line. And here comes Garth down here. Unfortunate for him. He's going to hit this. Oh, man. This inside wall. He's lucky he didn't hit that out dent right there. But the 3 with a lot of damage on that left side. And no fast repairs for any of these drivers. So that might be race over for Garth. Nowhere for him to go. But, that's what happens, when you're trying to negotiate through this lap traffic. One mistake and by someone else, and your race could be over. You see a ton of damage to the left side of that Wrangler machine. Tough break for Garth. He was having such a good run, but fortunately that 11 is kind of parked in front of him. Nowhere for him to go. Clear away, we saw the leaders come down pit road, take some tires. He can bottom down pit road right now for an extended stop. Wonder if did he get a penalty? As we see, okay, here he comes out of pit road. Saw him blink out for a second. I thought maybe he left the session. We have some drivers with a little bit of a different strategy. See, the 44 is going to come back around. He might have been the lucky dog. That's something I wanted to mention as well, is that I'm not sure who got the lucky dog in that situation. We can actually go back and look at that wreck between Bob Baker if we can find it real quick. I want to see what cars were involved in here. So Joe Gibbons racing for the lucky dog. I want to see if this 8 machine made any contact with these drivers. We'll need a different angle from this, but I don't think he made any contact. I thought that would have actually, no. I didn't realize Joe Gibbons was 3 laps down, so never mind. That does make sense why that 44 got the lucky dog. I mean, you see him clearly in front, but I was not aware that this 8 machine was, more than 1 lap down. The 44 was only 1, so that would make sense of why he got that. So but with that caution coming out, allowing everybody to come down and get some good fresh Goodyear tires and top up on fuel, we should be good to go the green for the rest of the way. So now it's going to be about who can manage their tires, who can be up there at the end, who can take advantage. The pace car take the hard left turn off pit road. 904 versus 67. And we're green once again here at Charlotte. Breaking news, Joseph Stafford out of the race. Oh, the 904 hooked by the 88. Huge wreck. 44 involved. Looks like maybe the 98 involved. And that's a massive collision for that Budweiser machine. Take a look back and see what happened. You see the 914? We're going to take a little bit slow-mo. The 914 just had it. I don't know if what happened to him, but obviously very slow compared to the rest of everybody there. And the 88 looks like didn't mean to do that. Looks like it pure accident, but the 914 was just super slow out of 2. The 88 tried to just duck underneath. Just tagged the left rear. Shot the 914 up into the wall. And you see some guys trying to react to the wreck. And pancake that left front up into the inside wall. It looks like that left front is broken on that 44 machine. Just got back on the lead lap. That might be a race ending for the 44. Obviously, nothing that 904 can do now. He's out of the race. That is definitely race ending damage. And that is, I mean, one of your race contenders done right there. What a shame. Nathan Jump deciding to come back down pit road, maybe top off on fuel. Looks like that's what he did. 4.8 second stop in the box. Corey Mott gonna come out of here in P2. And that's really shrunk this field down. No, I don't know what happened to Joseph Stafford, but he's out of the race. Anybody in the live chat knows what happened to him, wouldn't mind updating me. That'd be very nice. On the session events, I don't see anything that ATVO bookmarked for me that something could have happened to that 67 machine. I mean, that 57 machine of Stafford. Well, hopefully everything's okay in the 57 camp. But like I said, that shrunk down this field a lot. Corey Mott will be a race leader. I'll give P2 to Hayden Higginbottom. We know he's quick, but he did cause that caution. So, I mean, we'll see how controversial this is going to be if he does win this race. Obviously, didn't look like it was on purpose or anything, but you do see some rear end damage to that 88 as well. DJ Salmon, this is, you know, kind of the thing that he needed to turn this race around. Remember him had a huge mistake going down pit road, sped on pit road, went a lap down, and it looked like the rails had kind of fallen off the 67, but has gotten a couple of lucky cautions. Back now on the lead lap. We documented Nathan Jump coming down pit side. Just to top off on fuel. Ryan Taft back there in the P5 position. Looks like he's slow though. Like he's gonna come down pit side. No, he's not. A little fake out. Not sure if there's something wrong with this 6 machine, but he's, I mean, slow on track. Sounds like everything's okay with that. Maybe just ask for an EOL. Not sure. But we do see the lights are off on the pace car, but everybody is single file. I know this is something they used to do back in the day with Crown Jewel. Looks like they might be implementing it now. We did have 2 back-to-back cautions pretty, you know, close together on that restart. So maybe they decided to go single file to, you know, help the restart wreck maybe? I'm not sure. But obviously you see everybody single file. In the pace car, the lights are off. You're going to see the lights, that pace car take a hard left turn down pit road. 99, 88, 67, and 15, you fast forward. Going with 46 to go. Pretty good jump out of the 88, honestly. Really hard to gauge the jump, especially when you are single file. But a good jump for the 88. And you kind of see them, those two, get a little bit of a gap from third and fourth. You know, Nathan Jump's going to be very aggressive to try to get back up there. Towards the front. You see the 15 going to make the move on the 67, make it work. He's going to be back up here into that podium spot. Now it's between the 15, the 88, and this number 99 machine. Hey, not letting this 99 get away. Someone back there, really upset. I think that was the 6 of Ryan Taft getting super upset. Here comes the 88, trying to peek his nose on the bottom, trying to make something happen. Corey's going to give him the room. But the 88 did not get a good enough run to get side by side. Now I'm interested to see what this 88 can do. We know the 99 has one of the better long run cars. Like the only other car that had a pretty decent long run got taken out in that wreck with Bob Baker, and that was the 3 of Griswold. We saw that Nathan Jump did not have a good long run car. And we saw the rails kind of fall off the train for him when it came down to the long run pace. The 67 at Jay Salmon, I'm interested to see if he can stay up here. I felt like he did have pretty good long run pace, but unfortunately when it came down to green flag pit stops, huge mistake, sped down pit road, basically gave the race away. But got lucky, got a couple cautions to give him the track position back. Now he's sitting back there in that P4 position, and now just riding behind the 15. Right now, that 88 still trying to sit in the tire tracks of this 99. Not going to let this driver get away with this race lead. But that's the thing, is that you try to burn your stuff up to keep up with them. It's Corey burning his stuff up to stay ahead, right? It's just, once again, it's a cat and mouse game of how much do you want to push to keep the lead? How much do you want to push to keep the leader right there? We got a good battle. There's Jonathan Ledger trying to make up some spots. Jonathan Ledger a lap down, but trying to move his way through the field. They were trying to get his lap back. You see him, kind of hit the apron, slide up the track. You see him now, that 4th car in line. Once again, 1 lap down, but trying to race his way back up to the leader to try to unlap himself. Obviously, I don't think there's enough time for him to unlap himself if he had the pace and then go back around and race for this win. But if he can't unlap himself and then get a caution, that's going to be huge for this 98 machine. The Ledger cannot afford to use his stuff up to try to get back up there and not unlap himself. With that battling, with him getting around there, now Nathan Jump in the 67 going at it. You see the 67 get around the 15. I think Nathan's trying to do a better job with the tires this run. The first one we had in the race, from the start to lap 50, I felt like he had pretty good long run pace, and then from 50 to 100, you saw the wheels fall off. I think he knows that he could push. I think he wanted to see how hard he could push and see an experiment to see how hard, how bad the tire fall off is going to be. But you see him now really doing a good job, not pushing, trying to sit back there, trying to run his own pace. For 37 to go. See if he can go run these guys down if he needs to. Only a second and a half behind the race leader. You still see the leader in the 4 shot right there. So Nathan Jump's still definitely not out of it. But here comes Jonathan Ledger. He has caught these top 2. And Ledger has the same tires as everybody else. So it's not like he's at an added advantage to these guys. It just looks like he's either pushing the truck a little bit harder than everybody else, or he just has a little bit of a better truck than the race leaders. He's just right now stuck a lap down. Ledger gonna take a peek underneath the 88. Oh, 88 cuts his nose off. I mean, this is kind of those weird decisions that you have to make, right? As a lead lap car, as a lapper, right? Trying to get back on the lead lap. How hard do you block this lap car who's trying to get back on there? Do you just let him go and be cordial because you don't want to get wrecked by someone trying to drive through the field? If you're a lap car, you're more cordial because these guys are battling for the lead, right? You know, if I'm a lead lap car and I see a guy who's trying to charge through the field, I'm just going to let him go because most likely he's burning his tires up. And you'll get around him later anyways. But you saw the 88 put a huge block on the 98. Ledger starting to blink out a little bit here as well. And I think Ledger might start to see the tire wear start to affect him. As you see the 67, the Salmon get around him now. I think maybe the timer on those freshies have started to run out for Jonathan Ledger. See him start to actually fall away from the race leaders right there. Last lap for Ledger was a 31.9 versus, you know, Corey's 31.7. You know, Jay Salmon with a 31.5, so 2/10 quicker than the front two. Maybe pushing a little bit harder just to get back up there. Nathan jump around the 98 now. I think, yeah, the time is up for Ledger to go back up there and try to get back on the lead lap the hard way. I think he just used the stuff up a little bit too much to get back up there. And now you start to see the effects of just pushing 110% off the restart. The battle for the lead starting to heat up once again. Corey Ma has not been able to get away from this 88, and now the 67 is starting to reel in this 88 machine as well. Now, if you are the 67, I'm about to say to you, battle the 88. The 88 made a mistake, and that allowed the 67 to slide in there, take this P2 spot away, and now he's going to try to run down your race leader, Corey Ma. We go 30 to go. Presented by Delta Designs. Usually has your track facts, but did not get the information for this Legacy Charlotte in time for the broadcast, so we will give him a little shout out for this 30 to go. Go check him out over at X, over at Delta Designs. Grace does an amazing job, a great partner here for at High Velocity TV, a great person, a great friend of mine. So I highly recommend you go check him out. The 15 starting to make a charge now. Back through the field. Nathan jump. We talked about it. Maybe trying to save some tire. Trying to slowly reel these guys back in. He's going to get around to 88. Now Higginbottom back down to 4th, and we'll put that 15 back up there on that last pedestal for the podium. Now we've seen that jump has done at least a better job than the 88 at saving tires. But if I'm Nathan, even though you got around this 88, that doesn't mean you get to go yet. 28 to go, that's still a lot of laps here at Charlotte. You cannot let that, lack of pace in the 88 say, okay, it's time to go. You got to continue to run your own pace. And then maybe with like 15 to go, 10 to go, that's when you start to, push the car as hard as you can to try to make up some spots to get back up to the race lead. Granted, he's not that far behind. I mean, he's right there within the shot. If these two get together, if one of these two make a mistake, he will be there to pounce. Salmon, we talked about it. It seemed like he had good long run pace and not letting this 99 get away. Corey Mott has not been able to get away like you saw the some past leaders like Lee Hamby. He got away, got a 3-second gap, right? Had some cars try to reel him in and then use their stuff up and allowed that 914 to slowly pull away. And you gotta feel bad for, Lee. I felt like that was his race to lose. He had the best long run pace at that moment in time. Getting ready for green flag pit stops. Obviously a lot could happen there. He could have made a mistake and spun down pit road, sped down pit road, whatever, right? But Lee looked like he had a really good chance at going down and, coming out here with a win here in the preseason race here for the Sportsman Legacy Trucks Series presented by TH Designs. But it's a tough break, right? Sometimes the cards aren't in your favor, and for that Hamby machine, it wasn't in his cards tonight to go out here and race for a win. So I would say the top four under a blanket. Any one of these trucks can come out there and win. It just depends on who has the pace for these last 26 laps, 24 laps to go out and hit their marks. Get a lap truck of Bob Baker. Currently 10 laps down. I see a ton of damage to that machine. Honestly surprised that he's still out here running, but good for Bob. Oh my. He's going to get contact. He's going to make contact with the 67 into the inside wall. That's going to cause a caution. I think Salmon got some damage from that. And those leaders cannot be happy with this 11 machine right there. Obviously, already tore up quite a bit. And really kind of a reckless move by the 11, if you ask me. We'll go back and take a look at this. Look at the cockpit here. Go back and look at the cockpit here of the 11. I mean, he's got his wheel turned to the right, but with that damage, that doesn't mean you're going to be going straight, right? And you can clearly see he's sitting in the middle of the track. Look at these dotted lines right here. He is in the middle of the track, turning down, turning down, turning down. You see him tag the 67, getting to the wall. And oh man, I mean, the 67 comes down. He's got some damage a little bit because it looks like he overcorrects. Gets up into the 15. Oh man, and that takes 2 of your 4 race, potential race winners out of there. That's unbelievable if you ask me. Like, I don't really know of another way to say it. We'll go back and look at this. I mean, you see the 11 just sitting in the middle of the track, turning down the track, and you're a lap car. You got to get out of the way. And you put, 2 of your 4 race contenders in a really bad spot. And unfortunately, the 15 with some damage and the 67 with, it looks like, quite a bit of damage. Unbelievable. Well, you're going to see everybody come down and at least get some fresh Goodyear tires. See Nathan still down pit side. Gonna come out. Okay, still trying to get some damage fixed here. Let's go ahead and Yeah, I mean, you just gotta feel bad for the 67. You see a lot of rear end damage. We'll take a look at the front. Got some dimples on the front. I mean, he definitely took the biggest hit out of these guys, and like nothing he did wrong. So that's probably gonna take him out of contention for this race win. Like Jim Mott will get the lucky dog though. I think he's up there. Unless they're having lap cars. Maybe they're doing it old school style. Looks like they do have the lap cars on the bottom. Lead lap cars on the top. This is going to be interesting. But with 20 to go, going to 19 to go, we're going to be green here. 19 versus the 88. We're back green here at Charlotte. Now we're kind of in a realm now where tire wear isn't going to matter nearly as much as it did before. 20 laps, I mean, there is still going to be tire wear here in these legacy Silverados, but it's not going to be nearly as much as that's going to affect the way these trucks are going to drive. We're getting now into the likes of like a pickup cup race. If you everybody knows what the pickup cup race is here on iRacing in the sim, these officials are. This is about the same distance, so now it's just time to put the pedal down and see who can win this thing. Ryan Taft up to the P3 spot. He's been able to squeak through these wrecks, and now look at him. Battling up here for a podium. Hanging bottom versus the 99, and even then the 6 back there within striking distance if these guys get together. Hanging bottom with the look down low. Corey's gonna block. 88's gonna look up top. Let me get back down. Contact between the 99 and the 88 now. 88 trying to push that 98 out through the corner. With them rubbing fenders, that's going to allow the 6 to get back up to the tailgate of the 88. Six wants to make a move. Just exciting to just a little bit of time to the leaders, and that's going to allow the 15. Nathan Jump going to try to. We know Nathan's going to be aggressive to try to get around the 6. We know he's probably a top 3, top 4 truck, and Ryan just hasn't been up there, right? So, I feel like this 15 thinks he deserves to be up here in this podium. I'm going to try to race him as aggressively as he can, but we know Ryan isn't just going to pull over for him. Ryan's been here for a long time. He deserves to be up here in the top 3, right? Just as much as anybody else does. Dom makes the pass on the 6. Now he's up to the 3rd place position. Not moving right now. You see the 88 try to go to the top. Can you hear him? He's not lifting. None of these guys are lifting right now. I mean, this is basically super speedway with how many laps there to go. Tire is not going to matter as much as you think it would. So, oh, you see the 6 into the wall. Gonna lose a little bit of momentum down the straight. Not a lot of time, honestly. I expected that 6 to lose a lot more time from slapping the wall like that. Still an amazing fight for this lead. That 88 just has not been able to get a run enough to get on the outside or make a move with this 99. Corey Mott doing an amazing job doing what he needs to do, blocking lanes, blocking the momentum to keep himself out front. Sooner or later, this 88 will give the bumper to the 99. He's got to. Here comes a 15 on the inside. He's going to drive it in. It is going to have a little bit of a run out of the corner. That actually gives some separation between first and second. Corey Mott starting to slowly pull away here. Eight to go here at Charlotte. I feel like this 88 and this 15 need to link together to try to get back up there. These two cannot fight it out for the second place if they want a chance to get back here for the lead. If the 15 wants to race for the lead, he's got to get that 88 back up there. I think that's what he's trying to do, but he's going to take a look on the inside. Yes, he does. 15 going to try to make a move on the 88 going into 3. Don't think he's got something for this leader. That's the only reason I would see him going and trying to battle for this P2 spot. If he thinks he's got something that the 88 doesn't. Jump will clear for P2. Does the 15 have anything for your race leader? Coming to 5 to go. Brought to you by BH Designs, your series sponsor here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. Go check them out at TH Designs on X for more information. Does he have anything? Corey Mott driving the race of his life right now, trying to block, trying to keep everything out in front. Now coming to 4 to go. $15 with a little bit of an advantage going into there. Does he make a move? Nothing yet. The thing is, they're going flat out this whole track. It's hard to get momentum when you're going this hard and you're pushing the truck so much. It's going to be hard to get a run on this 99. Corey is just doing everything that he needs to make sure that he keeps the truck out. With a run. Team lifter. We're going to cut Corey a break now. Coming to 2 to go. 15's going to try to top. Is he gonna get there? Not quite, but he's gonna have a run. He's gonna look to the bottom. Corey's gonna try the block. 15 gonna take the bottom going to 3 and 4. $15.99 side by side going to the white. One to go. Does Nathan Jump have another highlight reel in him? Or can Corey Mott hold off this 15? Side by side at a 2. Gonna be dead even down the backstretch. Whoever gets out of here best is gonna get this. 99-15 coming to the line. Photo finish. It's gonna be the 15. Nathan Jump is gonna win at Charlotte. Nathan Jump victorious back to back here in the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. Last week at Auto Club and now here in the preseason race at Charlotte. Spinning out towards the line. Doesn't even have to go back around. He's just going to turn it around. Start to burn it down here at the home of NASCAR here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a finish. I mean, this kid is a walking highlight reel. Had a amazing battle with the 6 last week. And once again, an amazing come from behind victory. Getting around Corey Mott with 2 to go. And taking it home here at Charlotte. And we're going to have to go back and take a look at that, everybody. That was an amazing photo finish between these two. See the 15. It's going 2 to go. 15 tries to go up there. Tries to get a run. Cannot make anything of it. This is 2 to go. On board with your race winner. Going to the white. And we saw this earlier this race, that the bottom wasn't really not the preferred lane in 1 and 2. It allowed that top to kind of pinch down to get a run off the corner. But you see that side drop from the 15. See the 15. I feel like the bottom is the preferred lane here in 3 and 4, and this 15 shows it. Coming to the line. 99 might have had it, but you see the 15 go up and door the 99, slow that momentum up. I think that's the race-winning move right there, is that door up the track to slow that momentum from the 99 to secure a victory here at Charlotte. Wow, what a move, what a finish. Unbelievable. Nathan Jump. Well, obviously everybody excited about that finish, but let's go ahead and catch our breath. Let's go ahead and let our friends over at iRacing tell you about our services, and we'll be right back to go through unofficial race results and talk to your top 3. We'll be right back from after our words from our sponsors over at iRacing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Look at your top 5 finishers from Charlotte. Nathan Jump, Corey Mott, Hayden Higginbottom, Ryan Taft, and Garth Griswold comes back up with the P5. But we'll actually go through and look at your unofficial race results brought to you by High Velocity TV. Obviously, we just saw Nathan Jump barely photo finish once again. Corey Mott comes up just, you see that 1/100th short to getting a win here in the preseason. Hayden Higginbottom, Ryan Taft, Garth Griswold rounds out your top 5. Jonathan Ledger, Jim Mott, Joe Gibbons, Jace Salmon, and Bob Baker round out your top 10. And then rounding out the rest of your field, Ted Lisby had a pretty good run, led some laps tonight. Lee Hamby, terrible luck for him. Led some laps, maybe had this race in the bag, but unfortunately got caught up in some incidents out of his doing. And Joseph Stafford going to round out your field here. But it's time to get your race interviews underway. We're going to go ahead and talk to your P3 finisher and Hayden Higginbottom. Hey Hayden, it's Christian up here in the HBTV booth. You got a copy? Well, an exciting finish to say the least, but, for you, qualified up front, towards the front, looks like qualified P3, and just kind of, I felt like was pretty quiet throughout the day until I would say like that last, 50 or so laps, and we saw you start to make some noise, but walk us through your race, walk us through that finish, and walk us through how you got up here into this P3 position.
Back and save my tires. I knew it was gonna be a long race, and I knew saving tires was really gonna be the problem and saving fuel. That restart where I accidentally ran over Lee, I did not mean to do that, but he checked up so much in front of me, and I tried to go around him and just basically put a tarp over his truck. Honestly, I feel bad for that one, but it was a lot of fun. I didn't expect that track combo to be that good, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, walk us through, this new truck. Obviously, these last couple seasons that you guys have ran, this truck series, it's been with the current gen Craftsman truck that you see in real life. Walk us through, the differences between, this truck and now this old style 2008 Silverado. Obviously, we could see that this thing drove tremendously different than what you guys are used to. Just walk us through, the differences between that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, I feel like in this one, it's definitely like a lot heavier on the right front. I feel like it's a lot easier to just absolutely destroy the right front on these trucks. And it's kind of like the Gen 4, the 87s. Like, it's not, even on the straightaways, the wheel just isn't really straight. Like, you could probably go back and see us. We're all fighting the hell out of it on the straightaways. And that's a really big difference from the trucks they run now. I feel like this one's a little bit more front heavy, I think, just a little bit more, but I don't know. That was really my first time running that, besides like Pickup Cup or something, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we definitely mentioned Pickup Cup. That was really my only experience, even like calling races, is me racing inside the Pickup Cup for fun. But yeah, we definitely saw down the straights, we saw, even the issues down the straights is what caused a few of these cautions tonight. So yeah, definitely looked pretty tricky to manhandle these things out here. But coming down the line, obviously it was between basically you, the 15, and the 99. What else did you maybe need to maybe run down those guys, maybe be a little bit more competitive to battle for that win?
I had some damage from when on pit road. Ryan Taft gave me a shove, and that kind of damaged my rear end a little bit. But without him doing that, I probably wouldn't have made it to my pit stall or whatever. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Um, God, what were we saying? God, I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh my
No,
God.
what more do you think you needed to maybe get up there
Oh,
to the race leaders?
yeah. Just the damage probably, and then when Jay gave me a little tap in the dog leg, and I tapped outside wall, that kind of messed up my right front fender. So I think I think if that damage was fixable, I think I could have gave a little bit better of a run towards the end. Because when Nathan and Corey were started to battle, I expected to catch them, but I think my damage was so bad I couldn't catch them even when they were side by side.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like is that damage. These trucks seem a lot more sensitive than even I would say any of the current gen cars that we have. Obviously, a
Yeah.
little bit of a different damage model and stuff like that. It just seemed like once you even if it's just a little bit of like aero damage, it just slowed the car down a little bit too much to be that competitive. But still, granted, a P3 finish here, a good test run for the rest of the season here with this truck. But anybody you'd like to thank for this P3 finish before we let you go?
Thank you, Corey, for hosting it and stuff, and y'all for broadcasting it. And that was for I said that was for my father who passed away in August. So happy Father's Day to him. I was hoping to get a win, but I'll settle for a top three. We got Homestead next week.
Yeah, definitely. Excited to see what these things can do, especially somewhere outside of Charlotte. Obviously, we're used to really lumpy Tona and Charlotte and Legacy
Yeah,
Phoenix in these trucks. So I'm
yeah,
excited.
for sure.
I'm excited to see well what more can come out of here. But once again, we're gonna let you go. Once again, congratulations on this P3 finish. Hopefully, we can talk to you next week, maybe in Victory Lane.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Yep, that was your P3 finisher, Hayden Higginbottom. Great run for him. But let's go and talk to the boss man himself. I think, we'll see what his reaction is to this whole finish. But let's go ahead and talk to Corey Mott. Hey,
So,
hey Corey, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
yeah, I got you.
Well, I don't know if you want to call it heartbreak or just set of
No, dude,
circumstances.
that was so much fun. I'm not even mad. Like that was just such a good race overall. Like we only had 13 cars on the track, but it like felt like there was something going on the entire race. Like I don't know, it was like whether we were, catching people from other people saving fuel or trying to hold off Nathan at the end and I don't run fixed setup races almost ever. Like it's very foreign to me. In the last 2 years I've mainly done open racing. So like knowing that I can't make adjustments to help save my truck is it's new. I got to do it through driving styles. So like I was in the lead there and I just didn't know if I was using all my stuff up or if I was, driving too hard or not driving hard enough. I don't know how to judge that based off of just pure I don't know. I'm not used to it. So, but at the end, I would have won the race if I didn't make a mistake. It was all driver error. I I cut low out of four, coming to two to go, and that opened the door for Nathan to cut under me on the exit of two on the next lap because he just had the momentum, and I killed my momentum. And we were side by side and lost it by a hair. And honestly, you can't be mad about that. That was so fun. Um, Great racing all night from everyone. Feel bad for Lee. I think he got just checked up, and it was the whole restart thing, and that sucks for him. I think Hayden was pretty upset about doing that to him. So I think I hope he smooths it over with him. But honestly, if we could just pack out like 3 or 4 more drivers a race, this series would be so much fun. I'm not even asking for close to a full field, but God, we get up close to 20 and just keep it around 20. It could be so fun. I mean, we could go more, but yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of recruiting for Daytona. Hopefully, more people show up when it's Daytona too. We'll see. But that was just so much fun.
It was definitely a blast calling up here in the booth, especially, I mean, uh, just in general, this truck series. Us here at HVTV have been calling these truck races. We had an amazing finish last week at Auto Club with once and only the Nathan again. So, and seeing him up there once again, with another great finish, another really good battle and a photo finish, it was a lot of fun, and it was, interesting to see, kind of the comers and goers throughout the field. With what you pointed out, fuel saving, I didn't even think that was something that you guys were gonna try to do, but it was definitely interesting to see. As you mentioned out, it seemed like even with 13 trucks, it seemed like there was always something to look at. So, and whether it was the battle for the lucky dog, it seemed like, besides when Lee came out and got that 3.5 second lead, it seemed like the leaders were always on top of each other, just putting on some really good racing.
Yeah, the fuel situation was like 49 laps per run. So you kind of had to save 3 laps over the course of the race if it stayed green, which it didn't end up. But the first lap or the first stage, I guess, then everybody burnt their stuff up really, really heavily because maybe we didn't expect to go all the way, or maybe it was just getting used to the setup in the truck, and we hadn't run that many laps in a row on it, so people were learning. And then as the track cooled off and the lights came on, the setup really came alive, which it was built for I built it right as the evening came in, so that would make sense. So into the night, it got way better. It got grippier. It didn't burn the right front nearly as much. It was manageable. And I think that really made the last stint of the race really come alive with all the different battles we had going on. So, and as the drivers learn to manage it a little more, like I said, it's difficult with fixed setup racing when you never race it. So it's definitely going to be something for me, because I'm not only building the setups for the league, like for each individual race, but I also then have to go out and figure out how to race it, because I go from tuning it to make it feel better to now I have to run it at the set value that I set it at. So how can I adjust my driving style accordingly? I've leaned so heavily on tire pressure and spring perch adjustments to fix it, and can't do that anymore. Gotta put my big boy pants on and fix my driving style.
Exactly. And it's not even something I thought of was, thinking of it in that fashion, but it's definitely a different, interesting perspective you sharing with us at home and with the fans at home and everything else. But granted all that, I mean, it seems like you did a pretty decent job tonight coming home P2. Just, I mean, looks like 1200ths behind that number 15 machine. But before I let you go, anybody you want to shout out? Any friends, family, sponsors for this P2 finish?
Yeah, thanks to TJ for sponsoring the broadcast for these first 2 races. Make sure you guys reach out to him, TH Designs, if you guys need any paints. Really, really thankful that he was willing to support the league. And thanks to everybody that came out tonight. Thanks to you for broadcasting. Thanks to my dad. Happy Father's Day to him. Not the night he wanted, but still, I think he finished like 7th, so not a bad day overall. And yeah, thanks again to everybody for coming out. And like I said, we're gonna hit the ground recruiting on this. I'm gonna hit Facebook, Reddit, forums, find 5 more drivers to try and pack out this field, because our Gen 4 series is going to be packed out on Monday nights, but I think this will be a fantastic support series to go alongside of it. So
I definitely agree,
yeah.
and I think it's really cool what you guys are doing here with this stuff, with the legacy stuff, with the obviously the old truck and now the Gen 4. I'm really excited to see how this comes to be. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you go and get prepared for next week and get whatever you need done. But hopefully we can talk to you maybe if you get lucky in Victory Lane next week.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. That was Corey Mott, boss man himself, P2. Heartbreak, but it seemed like he wasn't that shaken up. I mean, when you have good racing like that, it's really hard to be upset when you lose in that kind of fashion. He said, playing out, he made a mistake and gave it away. But I guess it's time to talk to him. We didn't get to talk to him last week when he had that amazing run at Auto Club and an amazing finish at Auto Club. Let's go ahead and talk to Nathan Jumpy, race winner. Hey Nathan, there's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, Christian?
Not much. Probably not as good as you right now, but yeah, just I mean, once again, you come out here and put on an amazing, I would say 10-lap battle for this win and come out on top. But it seemed like you had, I would say, a top 2, top 3 truck all race long, and even with the tire management and the fuel saving, we got that caution with 20 to go. Put yourself in the spot to come down, take some tires, and drive up through the field. So just walk us through the race. Walk us, what it was like driving this. It seemed like a pretty difficult truck to drive in some points of the race, and just walk us through how you got up there to compete for that win.
Yeah, it was pretty all out for a little while, and then the right front would start going away, and I pushed it a little too hard in that first stint, and I got caught by the two or three dudes behind me, so I shouldn't have let that happen. But the second stint we were saving gas, or at least some of us, and as soon as I was looking good on gas, they had wrecked in front of me, so I was like, man, now I gotta make up all that ground. And I was slowly making it up, and then they wrecked in front of me again. I got a little bit of damage on that, and that was about 20 to go, so I thought I was done after that. And I guess they fixed it all. I set the fastest lap a few laps later, so I was like, all right, I'm good to go. And then, man, I was just tracking Corey down. I didn't think I'd get to him, but I had to use him up a little bit there on the last lap, maybe a little bit too much, but yeah, it was pretty solid, man.
Yeah, granted, it was still an amazing race for that win. I mean, and like I said, what they say, rubbin's racing. So, and it seemed like Corey
Oh
wasn't too beat up by it. I mean, Corey's
yeah.
always someone who's a big fan of good racing and a good finish. So, especially as a league owner who wants to put on a good show. But coming back to the car to the truck, obviously, a lot of people probably don't have a lot of experience with the '08 Silverado here. So just walk us through how that drove and how differently that drove, especially the like Auto Club last week where you came out there and won.
Yeah, the first like 5 to 10 laps, it felt a little bit numb and a little bit like floaty, so it was kind of weird to get a feel for it. On the backstretch, it was killing me. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I was all over the place on the backstretch. It would just wobble, and then bang, you're just trying to catch it. And I got the wall once or twice, but I started pushing less, and it was manageable. But yeah, it's a little unpredictable at times, but if you can save that right front, you'll be good to go on a little longer run there.
Yeah, it looked a little wobbly and Hayden even talked about it where it was kind of hard to catch on the straights when we even saw that's why a reason why some of those cautions came out was some of those drivers
Yeah.
just couldn't handle it. But looking forward at some of the future races in the schedule here for the Legacy Truck Series, right? I mean, obviously we've raced in if you think about it in pickup cup terms, we've come here before at Charlotte. We've come to Legacy Daytona. We've come to Legacy Phoenix. Is there looking at some of these tracks coming up in the future that really is an unknown? Is there one track that really sticks out to you that you know you think you'd like more than maybe the ones that we've come to before?
Yeah, well, I don't know off the top of my head what we go to, but I have a general idea, and anything that's a short track or where you really got to use that brake and manage that right front, I feel good to go. And I don't know if I'll make all the truck starts, but I'm definitely here for that Monday night Gen 4 that Corey's putting on, and I'm excited for it all. It seems like a pretty well-ran league, and Corey seems like a pretty hard-working dude when it comes to admin in it.
I definitely agree, Corey. I've known Corey for a long time. I used to race here before I got put up here in the broadcast booth to try to do my best job to entertain these fans at home. But yeah, I definitely agree. Crown Jewel, great group of guys, great group of racers here. So, but I guess the last thing to do is ask you if there's anybody you want to thank for this finish. We didn't get to talk to you last week for your win at Auto Club. So anybody you want to thank for these last two wins? Anybody you want to thank, friends, family, any sponsors, anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, thank you for broadcasting it. Sorry about last week. I didn't really know who to talk to. I kind of just finished the race and went downstairs. But yeah, I appreciate you broadcasting it, and I appreciate Corey putting it all together. And he's looking for some more dudes, so hopefully some more people can join and fill it up a little bit.
I definitely agree. I hope we can get some more people in here. I think it's going to put on some great racing. And once again, thank you so much for the shout outs. It's definitely appreciated. But I'm going to let you go. Get ready for next week I guess it's Daytona. So obviously going to be a very exciting race there. But once again, congratulations on this win tonight. And hopefully we can talk to you again in Victory Lane.
Thanks, Christian. Have a good night.
Yep, you too, buddy. That was the man of the hour, Nathan Jump, your race winner. I mean, I still can't believe that finish happened. 12/100ths of a second. So, once again, I guess we'll go through your race results one last time before we start to. Let me misclick before we start to wrap everything up. Once again, Nathan Jump, your race winner here at Charlotte. Corey Mott, P2. Kane Higginbotham, we talked to him post race. He's going to be third place. Ryan Taft, P4. Garth Griswold, good run for him, P5. And rounding out the top 5, Jonathan Ledger P6, Jim Mott P7, Joe Gibbons P8, Jay Salmon P9, and rounding out your top 10, Bob Baker. Rounding out the rest of the field, Ted Linsby, heartbreak for Lee Hanby, and I would say heartbreak for Joseph Stafford as well. I don't know what happened. We just saw him leave the session. Hopefully everything's okay, but also had a really fast hot rod underneath him as well. But besides that, chat, I think that's really all for tonight. Once again, you were watching the Sportsman Truck Series presented by TH Designs here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Make sure to go over and check out TH Designs over on Twitter, over at TH Designs 2. Make sure, I mean, he does a lot of great work there. And thank you so much, TH, for the sponsorship for the series. I know that Corey and everybody here over at Crown Jewel appreciate everything you do here. And hopefully, you know, you can come on board for some more races. I know you'll be doing the first 2. Hopefully you can, you know, come on and help, continue to help the league so we can continue to broadcast this. But once again, I appreciate everybody coming out and watching the show. Once again, my name was Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator here in the HVTV booth here in Central Kansas. But besides that, guys, hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we'll see you right back here next week for some Daytona racing. But besides that, everybody, hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys soon.